Number 46, we have already seen a moire, but this 100% acetate made with filament yarns using a warp-faced satin weave is in fact a tricky imitation of the moire. So we note here that this one was solution dyed, but then there is a pigment print overprint, right? And we'll take a look at that in just a moment. This one is also ciré calendared, and we saw that with the other swatch as well. This means that a bit of wax was added to the surface in order to make it even more shiny. Poor abrasion resistance, that's just a characteristic of satin weaves, which is why it's ironic that people would claim that the very high count satin sheets are better quality. They're actually lower quality than things that are made with the plain weaves. But because some consumers are tricked into just looking at the number, they're fooled. So how do we know that this print is not actually a moire? It's because there's no rib, right? I can't rub my surface and feel the rib. I can't rub on the surface of the fabric and feel the rib. Let me find here. It's actually swatch number 28. That is the real moire. So go back and give that a touch and see if you can tell the difference. Our crepe back satin is 85% triacetate and 15% polyester, made with a filament warp and a filament crepe filling. So it's still a filament yarn, but it's got extra twist to it. This warp-faced satin weave was union dyed and does not have a finish. We can note that it drapes well and that, like other acetates, it has poor abrasion resistance, which again is another reason why it's such a shame that acetate is commonly used for bridesmaids' dresses. Again, these people that the brides claim to love, and yet they use a really bad fabric in their products that they are paying a ton for. So here we see this creped back satin. It has sort of the characteristic crepe texture, right? And on the back, it's definitely even more crepey, right? And let's see if we pull out one of the filling yarns, if we can see the crepe twist to the yarn. And so does the yarn seem a little more bumpy than other yarns? Yeah, it kind of does. And that's because it's been over twisted to really bring out the rumples on the surface. But that does give it a bit more stretch. And of course, polyester helps it stretch a bit too. All right, and we have another sateen. This one, on the other hand, is a filling-faced sateen, so made with 100% cotton. That is part of the definition of sateen, and this will give us a chance to get a feel for the difference between filling-faced and warp-faced. Get the rest of this filled in quickly so we can look at that. This one here was Schreiner calendared and mercerized. It's lustrous as far as cotton goes, has a smooth hand, and is used in apparel and also in interiors, drapery linings. All right, so how do we know the difference between something like this and the previous sateen, which was a warp-faced sateen? So this one here is a filling face sateen, and we can see that we can easily see the warp yarns there. There's only a small number. The filling, on the other hand, there's so many filling yarns, we can't, as we rumple the edge there, we can hardly begin to know how many filling yarns there are. Whereas this previous sateen, right, we can distinctly see the different filling yarns, but there's a ton of warp yarns. So the more yarns there are in the one direction means that that's going to be composing more of the face. So this is our filling face sateen, right? And Actually, it's much more common to make sateens with a filling face. This one is 100% cotton. The previous one had to have a bit of elastomeric fiber in it in order to really make it work out. So this filling face sateen is a great example.